Hey everyone, I don't know if you can tell from the quality of this video, but I have a brand new camera. I decided to invest in getting the actual camera for making YouTube videos. I am still learning to use it and all the settings, so I don't know how great this video is going to turn out, but we're going to go with it. I feel like I look super pale. And I don't have a mic in it, so I don't know how the sound quality is going to be, but we're going to work with it. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So about a year ago, I posted a video with my top 5 tips for managing anxiety. If you don't know, but you'll know if you've been following me for a while, I have really bad anxiety. I've had it for a long time, probably Lyme related. And in that video, I shared some of my tips for managing really bad anxiety, and since then I've added a few more to my repertoire, so I thought I would share those with you today. I still use a lot of those tips from the previous video, especially coloring books, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen that video, which will be linked so you can go watch it. But I'm going to share tips today that I've added. So the first one is called tapping, or EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. This is pretty popular these days, but I wanted to share with you how I do it. I've known about it for a really long time, but I've only recently started using it. I can't take credit for this, but I learned it from some of my friends on Instagram when they did a video conference series, and they made it so easy to learn and not as complicated as a lot of other videos I've seen. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is easier than I thought. I can definitely do it. So I'm going to show you what I learned and how I do it to help manage my anxiety. So basically you tap on several points. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. You tap on 9 different points. You're going to use 2 fingers, and the first point, I'm going to show you the tapping points, and then I will show you what you say while you're doing that. So the first one is the top of your head, kind of like the crown of your head with 2 fingers. Then you do your third eye. Some people do like right on the inside of their eyebrow, but you can do either as far as I'm concerned. Remember, I'm not an expert. Then the other one is the outside of your eye, or like right on your right below your temple, on the cheekbone, right below your eye. And it doesn't matter how many times you tap in each place. Right below your nose, right below your bottom lip, in that little divot on your chin. The next one is right below your collarbone, like just inside the middle of your neck. You can do either side. The next one is below your armpit, which is where the bra line is for females, so a couple inches below your armpit. And then the inside of your hand, or the outside of your hand, I guess. I just call this the karate chop. I don't know why. So that one. And you can do either side of your body. It doesn't matter. But basically, the way EFT works is you do a phrase that's something like, even though I have pain or I have anxiety in this case, I fully love and accept myself. The second part is always, I fully love and accept myself, but you can change it. So a lot of times I'll do, even though I have anxiety really bad right now, everything is going to be okay. And I repeat that while I'm doing it. So even though I have really bad anxiety right now, I fully love and accept myself. Even though I have really bad anxiety right now, everything is going to be okay. Even though I have really bad anxiety right now, everything's going to be okay. Even though I have really bad anxiety right now, I fully love and accept myself. And I'll do that for, I mean, if you can only fit in like 1 round like that, totally fine. But I usually do it until I start to feel calmer, which could be 5 or 10 minutes. Some people do it for 20 minutes if they have the time. But you can do that easily anywhere, almost anywhere, while you're lying in bed. And if you're in a public space, you can tap just 1 point that's kind of obscure. So like you could just be sitting there like doing this in your lap. I had an old therapist who would just have me do opposite sides. So like I would sit in my sauna and do this, or I would do it on my arms or on my thighs, like opposite sides, for the neural connections. And that was always really calming. So if like I was in public and I couldn't really go say all that stuff out loud, I would just start tapping like my opposite thighs, because that's pretty, like, nobody really questions that or will notice it. And that was always really helpful. So that's the first one, emotional freedom technique. It usually calms me down. I don't know all the science behind it, and that's not what this video is about. It just works. You can Google it. to learn more about the science part of it. The second thing I want to mention is a pretty obvious one. I think a lot of you will know this already, but it's surprising how well it works, is journaling. So a lot of times when I'm really anxious, it's because I have a lot on my mind, and if I can just get that out on paper, and then it's not going around in my head over and over again, it's like down on paper and I don't have to try and remember all of it, that actually can calm my anxiety a lot, especially if it's related to like things I have to do or thoughts I have, or ideas or something. A lot of times I'll be lying there like, oh my gosh, I have to do these 10 things, but I'm really tired and I'm going to start them in an hour, but I can't forget to do them. If I just go write them down, then I can relax for that hour and my anxiety goes away. Also just journaling in general to try and uncover your anxiety or get thoughts on paper in general, and that can be really helpful. So very tried and true old technique that most people know, but a lot of times I forget about it all the time. So that's another good one. The next one is doing some breathing exercises. So there's one in particular that I really like. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. A lot of people do know about this one as well, but I'm going to show you what it is. So you're going to take, I've done this actually in a really old YouTube video I made at the beginning of my channel for one of the yoga videos I recorded. So I do this actually every night before I go to bed, but I'll also do it if I'm feeling really anxious and need to calm down. You're going to take your thumb and your ring finger, and you're going to close off one nostril with your ring finger, and you're going to inhale for 4 through your right nostril. So then you'll hold both nostrils together closed for 7 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're essentially holding your breath, and then you'll release your ring finger and breathe out of that left nostril for 8 counts. 6, 7, 8, and then you'll repeat. So you'll breathe into this nostril for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And you can do as many rounds of that as you want, but there's a lot. There's so many reasons why that works. There's a lot of neuronal reasons. There's a lot of, like, it gives you something to focus on rather than your anxiety. You focus on your breathing, which takes away from whatever's making you anxious. So breathing is great. The fourth one, I guess at this point, is calling a trusted friend or family member. And again, and that, like, journaling kind of maybe sort of an obvious one, but one I often forget as well until I'm like in a panic attack. And I know a lot of people with illness or even anxiety can just, like, there's not a lot of people you trust, or when you're in that moment it's hard to open up about it, especially because mental illness can be so stigmatized and that sort of stuff. But I found that it helps me so much if I can do it, remember to do it, and take that step to reach out, which is usually the hardest part, and just go for it and call somebody when I'm feeling super overwhelmed and super anxious. It can calm me down, especially calling my mom, because she will talk through it with me, or my best friend. She'll also talk through it with me and kind of either give me tips or just let me vent, which can be super, super helpful. So it's just a tip I want to remind you of briefly. Like, don't forget about that one. Calling somebody that you trust can be extremely helpful, not only because it's somebody to talk to and get your thoughts out, but also because it can give you, especially if you can't like be there with them in person, it can just give you that connection so you feel less alone. A lot of times when I get really anxious, I just feel so alone in it, and that reminds me that I'm not alone and I have support, and it's all going to be okay. And I have people there for me. Another tip I have is asking why. This one might seem weird, but a lot of times when I'm really anxious, I just all of a sudden feel all this anxiety, and it helps for me to figure out why I'm feeling anxious, because then I can get to the root of it and perhaps fix the issue or understand it better. So let's say I'm feeling super anxious, and I'll say, why am I feeling super anxious this morning? Because I'm super stressed. Okay, why are you stressed? I'm stressed because I have a really long to-do list today. Okay, on that to-do list, are there things that, like, what is the timeline? Do they all have to be done by the end of the day? No, probably not. Okay, what things can you take off your to-do list and move to tomorrow or move to another day so that today becomes less stressful? Okay, I can move these 3 things. Now I only have 5. Okay, Are you feeling less anxious? Yeah, I am. So that's kind of just a general example. But a lot of times, like, asking why multiple times to yourself can really help you get to the root of your anxiety and actually be able to solve the issue and solve the anxiety rather than just kind of push it off. And sometimes that technique doesn't always work because anxiety can just be for no reason, but a lot of times that helps. Or if I can just ask myself questions to better understand where I'm coming from, just understanding where I'm coming from can ease the anxiety, even if it doesn't take whatever pressure is causing the anxiety off my shoulders. Like, just being able to name it and describe it and understand it is really helpful. So the last tip is, again, another one that's directed at concentrating at something else that's not your anxiety. And that is, there's a couple ways you can do this. So one way to do it is, if you're sitting in a room and you're feeling anxious, you can choose a color, like let's say blue, and look around and try and find 5 things that are blue. Or like choose the shape circles and name everything in your head in that room that's a circle. This again takes your mind off whatever's making you anxious and it forces you to focus on something else. So you're really focused on finding all the things that are blue, and so you can't focus on whatever's making you anxious. It redirects your brain power. And another way I like to do this, especially when I'm really, really tired but still super anxious, is to lie down, and I can close my eyes this way and think about all the sounds I hear. So I'll be like, okay, I'm lying here, I hear a truck outside, I can hear the sound of my breath, I hear water running in the other room. And again, it makes me focus on something other than my anxiety, and it really targets my focus, which is super, super helpful at times when, like, I just can't, like, my brain is just spinning a million miles per hour. So those are a bunch of new tips I have that I've been using to help manage my anxiety over the past year. I hope they were helpful for you. If you have any other tips that I haven't mentioned in this video or the previous video that I've made on anxiety, be sure to leave them in the comments so that we can all learn some new tips and work on our anxiety management. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps support my channel, and then hit that little red subscribe button. It also helps support my channel. I really appreciate all your support. Keep watching my videos, and thank you all for getting me to over 1,000 subscribers now. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time.